All right, welcome back. This is Ironsworn, and we're going to have a bit of a recap because it's been a couple of weeks for both of us, and we just kind of need a little bit of a review. So, for the last episode, it was where Jurek was remembering with Tavik, with Isru, doing an ambush on a rival warband at the time, and they had taken prisoner some of the scouts of that warband, and they got so much, like it's only so much information out of the elder of the pair, and then I guess Jurek had slew him, and then the younger begged for his life, and Jurek was going to slay him as well, but then Tavik intervened and then let him go. So, this is the Iron Priest that grew up to harbor a hatred for Jurek and knows him as the Hawk, and went through this territory with the forests, and then running into an Iron Priest's palisade, which is where we were assuming the group of Iron Priests we ran into came from. Ran into a giant's child, and Ajla was suffering from some of the after effects of the poison and being stabbed. Could not get medical attention, so yeah, she's kind of just dealing with that. And then Jurek and Ajla came upon a battlefield, and Jurek kind of recognized it, and Ajla experienced a vision. And then when Jurek went onto the battlefield and then turned around, Ajla was gone. So that's where we pick up today, and we'll see what happens. So we enter the scene where I guess Jurek turns around after hearing Ajla cry out, and then you don't see anything when you do, except for the horses and whatever supplies you guys have left. What do you do? Do you hear something?
No?
That was
What
weird.
sort of something?
Hold on. It was weird. It was like something in my headphones, or
Huh.
like somebody having a conversation. I'm like, what the hell? Boy, I hope not.
Not my microphone picking up a radio station again, I
I
hope.
hope not. I don't know.
I'm using the same mic. It's not impossible.
Oh boy. Well, we're gonna find out. Okay. So,
Yeah. Um, oh boy, yeah, I think Jurek's just going to look around and probably dash toward anything that she could have. We're in quite an open plain right here. That was my impression of the terrain.
yeah, it's
Or
like,
is that
it's
just
got
purely my
some.
imagination?
Well, there. I think we recall that we remember seeing like some rocky cairns, like here, like some
Mm-hmm.
kind of markings for, like this was also like a burial ground for those that died here on the battlefield, and then some furrows of where the field was trying to recover.
Mm.
But it's not completely there yet because I mean, like, there's been quite a few battles on here, not just recently, but like in the past. So the land is still trying to recover. Um, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's like it's relatively clear. Maybe it's a open plain with some rolling hills and such
Yes, I
nearby.
think he'll just be casting around, trying to look behind any rocks or you know anywhere that she could be it's crazy, but maybe she stepped behind something or is hiding. She saw something and is hiding from something that he isn't aware of, or
Right.
yeah, where could she have gone?
What you do notice, I think, is that the sword is still around.
Lying on the ground.
Yeah. It's still sheathed. But it's lying on the ground where she sort of was.
Yeah, I think the first thing he'll do then, after just, it dawns on him that something odd has obviously happened, is he'll pick the sword up. Is that still sheathed?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And kind of look down at it and say, "Is this your doing, Vess?"
Do you hold it only by the sheath, or do you put a hand on the hilt?
I think he's got like one supporting it and two hands, like one on the sheath and one on the pommel.
Excuse me.
Hilt.
I think as you put your hand on the hilt, you're going to hear like this whisper in the back of your head that sounds something like, "She's not here. She's out of time."
What does that mean?
Unsheathe me.
I think he'll do it, yeah. Just pull the sheath off and drop it.
Yeah, I mean,
Hold the sword out in front of him.
as the sheath comes off, you almost hear like a distinct, like metallic shing coming from it, as if it was struck, but you don't know. You don't know how. I mean, it was just pulled out of its sheath. That's weird. But when it is fully in the light, I forget what time of day it is, at the time that you find this battlefield. Let's just say like, mid-morning or something like that. It's like shining in the light, and you hear the voice go from a whisper to a full-blown voice in the back of your head. She's out of time, and she basically is not here anymore, Jurek. It's not my doing.
You're not making any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Being bound the way I am, she's not supposed to go that far away from me, or I am not supposed to go that far away from her. I don't understand it, but I don't sense her here at this point now. She's not here, Jurek.
And what do you expect me to do?
We need to find her.
Obviously we do. But how?
What were you doing before she disappeared?
We were just traveling.
What did you do differently?
I don't know.
I
I don't
cannot
know.
see through your eyes the way I do through hers. Tell me what you see.
I see an old battlefield from some years past.
I sense power here. There is something here out of time. You
How
are
do I find
here.
it?
The sword goes silent as if Vess is thinking. And at this point, when you are holding the sword in your hand and you're trying to get sense of what happened and why even Vess can't find Ajla, you hear coming from across the field, from the opposite direction from where you came, you end up hearing somebody singing. Not very well, but it's someone singing.
Jurek's head kind of whips up as he hears that sound. Does he see anyone?
You see in the distance, still a ways away, but you can still hear his voice. You see tallish male. He seems to be wearing traveling clothes. And he's carrying a little drum and what looks like a pipe hanging from his belt, like a fife or something like that. All right, I'm hearing something, and I think it is a radio station being picked up.
Please hold on a sec.
No problem.
How about now?
I do not hear it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I've switched the minute code.
Okay.
For some reason, that makes you sound super different. But
Like how?
just
Like,
more, I don't know, the tone is different. But
I mean, you sound hollow to me now.
yeah,
You're not
I'm
like
using
quite as forward.
using the headphone mic.
Interesting.
I don't know. Let's see what this is. Cheap Amazon mic that
No
I
problem.
have. He does this.
That's okay. I can have a little bit of something while you're working on that.
Let me try this again. Let's see. How about now? Are you getting any weird radio signal?
No, but I mean, like, you're sounding much clearer. That's awesome.
Okay. All right. All I did was move the cable for the mic. So
That's so weird. Holy shit. And if it's extra good and you can hear me chewing, I'm sorry.
that's okay. No problem. You want to take a break and eat?
Mm-mm. I was even going to suggest pretending we were those lazy iron priests, for funsies. And be like, it's like talk philosophy, and it's like, why aren't we getting the good jobs? Because we're kind of lazy or whatever. You could play the grim dark weirdo, and I could play the lazy bitchy one. Who's always noshing on something because he's always hungry. I mean, we could do that at any point, pretty much. Okay. So yeah, he's not really paying attention. I mean, like it sounds like he's working out a tune in his head, and then just kind of like singing it out loud, and then occasionally he will like take a few beats on his on his hand drum while he's doing it, and he's nearing the battlefield. And I don't think he sees you. I mean, like, I don't know if you're like ducked behind some of the rocks, or if you're like just standing there and you're just not in view yet. This could be an opportunity to roll if you want, but I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I think I'm not making any attempt to hide. In fact, I'm probably walking toward him.
Okay. And then he sees you, and he's kind of like you know, he interrupts his slightly tuneless singing to kind of like raise a hand and hello. It's like, oh, oh, hello, and then you can like kind of hear this deep resonant voice like, you know, call out to you. What do you hear, stranger?
I'm just traveling. Looks like the same as you. Have you seen a woman by herself in the last few minutes? My companion.
No, no, not at all. I mean, just me and my little drum and pipe, and just trying to take in the surroundings and try to come up with some songs to sing. I'm sorry, I'm very rude. I am Orme.
Jurek.
Pleasure, sir.
Where are you bound, Orme?
That is a bit of a story in itself, I suppose. I'm a bit of a bard, so I'm always traveling for stories.
The woman I'm looking for was a bard.
Oh, indeed. What was her name?
Ajla of Ulderuk.
Oh. Yes, she likes to tell my story, absolutely.
You know her?
I I think I might have met her once at a festival. Things like this keep us traveling quite all over the Ironlands. And sometimes well met, sometimes passing through, and she likes to tell my story. Did she tell you that one yet?
I don't think she did.
I fell in love with the portrait. Most beautiful woman I ever saw. And he starts to hum, a song of his own devising, and it's the tale that Ajla had told you, but like she tells stories. She doesn't necessarily sing. So, I mean, he puts a better spin on it than she does, even though he's more tuneless. And so, you know, you hear the story of him falling in love with this portrait of this woman, and he was searching for her in his travels, and then he found her and realized that the portrait did not give the full truth of the matter. She's definitely beautiful, but did not give any hint that she was a bandit queen. Basically held him up for all of his gold when he finally found her. So, and he has a laugh unto himself, like after he finishes his song about his own tale.
I think she did tell me that one.
I
didn't realize there was truth to it.
Well, we like to embellish, I'm sure, but sometimes she will tell the truth. It's almost as a joke on me, I'm sure. But you know her? You are accompanying her, sir.
I was. until just a few moments ago. I'm worried something unusual has happened to her.
Unusual? I mean, is there something about this place that bodes ill? I mean,
Other than that, then it's an old battlefield.
huh.
That bodes ill enough for me.
Old ghosts, maybe.
I was wondering something very much like that, yes.
Hmm. Trying to think of some of the lore that I know from my travels. Some places, some people are haunted. The past won't let them go. And then sometimes, those places or people can be a trap. And the trap ensnares those unwary and will hold on to them until it sees fit to let them go. Do you think that is something that you've come upon here, sir?
I think you're talking in riddles. Speak plain. If you have any idea where she might be.
I think the answer to your question is more of not where, but when.
And what makes you think that?
This is an open field, open battlefield for the most part. If you've looked around here, you've looked behind the stones, around the field, and you have not spotted your friend, I would say that that is fairly likely. She has fallen into a trap of time.
What does that
Magics
even mean?
in the past. How far? Who knows?
Such things are from stories.
And she and I are of knowing of such stories. But usually something like this, something like this kind of trap, is usually only sprung by someone with a connection to the place or person that it is. Did she have a connection to this battlefield?
I think if that's the case, then the connection might be me. The
Were
battle the battle here was one that I fought in.
I would hear this tale, except I think that your priority is with your friend, with Ajla.
I don't know that there's much of a tale to tell. Two armies, a lot of dead men and women.
How far back?
Must be nigh on 10 years now.
She very well may be that far back into the past.
And what do we do about that?
Did you remember that battle when you came upon this place, sir?
I did. I haven't seen it since.
Until now.
Aye.
Again, the ghosts are deep in this place. And he starts to survey the field itself, and then sees remarks upon all the different stone cairns that you see. And he will actually walk over to the field itself and then kind of touch each of the cairns and look up after going through the ones that are nearest to you. And he'll say, I have a bit of sorcery in my family, and there is power here. Yes. Somehow, this trap of this field has hooks into you, sir. And somehow, those hooks were pulled, but instead of grabbing you as the one who remembers this place, it has somehow pulled Ajla. This battle, is there any remarking of the time of year? Is this the time of year that you fought? Do you remember? 10 years is a long time.
I remember well enough. It was the first snow of the year, early in the season for fighting. So it can't have been far off this time of the year.
How long did the battle last?
That's not an easy question to answer. Once you start fighting, time seems to move differently. But it was over within the day.
So you remember going from day into night? Did you build funeral pyres for those that you mourned?
We did. And the sun had not long set when we did that.
Okay. It may be just as simple as a reenactment, maybe, perhaps. Something where you thought about this place at the right time or the wrong time, depending on how you look at it. And so perhaps you need to think upon what you were doing this particular day. Time is a very strange thing. It's like the rivers. It flows. It has currents. And it wears down on the things that it passes through. Do you wear your 10 years since hard on your being, sir?
I don't think 10 years sits easy on any man.
Depends on how he spends it.
Well, I didn't spend it in comfort and luxury.
Can't say I knew that either. But I've made well of this past 10 years. Travel, adventure, thinking on a woman makes time pass. But I digress. So, the possibility is to think upon what has happened here to you and from your actions, and perhaps that will be the key to unlocking that trap and releasing Ajla. Past may weigh heavy on you, and it has weighted down so much that, again, the trap was sprung. It may take waiting until nightfall, when the funeral pyres were set, to see if something comes of this. I am willing to wait with you, if you'd like. I have no particular place to be.
That seems well enough.
You may want to, let's see. This could be an appropriate time to see about, like, either rolling on a table, or like a gather information, just to kind of see like a general idea of, is this kind of like where, like what we should be doing at this point, you know?
What sort of table were you thinking of?
Kind of like a, what is it, like is it the Oracle? Something like the Oracle, but a little bit more, specific, I guess. I don't know if there's something more specific than that. I mean, because, yeah, again, because with Ask the Oracle, it's only got, 12 questions, Yeah, I mean, it's pretty general. It's just based on the D10s, the D10 roll. I don't know if there's something a little bit more specific in terms of, like, you know, what
I'm
happens
wondering if
next. And if there isn't, we'll just roll on the, like, you know, the Ask the Oracle.
there's the major plot twist table, but that might be two.
I mean, I always have fun with this kind of stuff. So, I mean, like, if you want to roll on that table and then compare it to an Ask the Oracle roll, see what happens.
Let's see what comes up. I'm going to have to turn the light on because I can't even see my dice straight. There's a 96. Roll twice more on this table. Both results occur. Okay. 33. Someone returns unexpectedly. And 36. A more dangerous foe is revealed.
Oh my god, it's like it read my mind. Oh boy. You ready for this?
As I'll ever be.
Okay. Oh, the idea's just percolating, and then this just like rolled right into it. Okay, so I think at this point, a couple of things happen. Like, not only does Orme like offer to hang with you for for as long as it takes to see if by sundown, whatever happens will happen, and then maybe Ajla will come back. But I think at this point, like, you start to hear hoofbeats, and it's like a single horse coming. And I think you can tell from the silhouette of the rider, I think you can tell it's an Iron Priest. And then
what makes them distinctive?
I think it's like the hood. Like there's a particular peak to the hood. And then there's also like the fact that they have those they're kind of girded with those bandoliers of like the little iron plates
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and it's like their robes are long. So when they're riding astride, it's like you can kind of like, it's the same flap of the
Very
of the
dramatic looking. Yeah.
yes. Pretty much. Yeah. It's like the way it's particularly cut, whatever. I mean, like, you just recognize it. It's almost like, um, can almost be like bat wings kind of thing, as they're riding. But yeah, I mean, like you get the sense, oh boy, it's an Iron Priest by himself. So that's one that's odd. Secondly, you sense a rumbling in the distance. But the rumbling seems like it's moving closer, even as the Iron Priest rides. So as you and Orme look on, imagine the field, and then diagonally from one direction comes the Iron Priest, and then diagonally in the other direction, you can hear and then sense the rumbling.
I think, yeah, Jurek will just grab Orme and, just be like, get down.
What what about your horses? There's the three horses there.
I don't know. There's nothing we can do about it now.
Okay, I'm fine to hide. Sure. Um, who are we hiding from?
That rider's an Iron Priest. And if do you hear that rumbling?
Yes.
Could be more riders approaching. Does it sound like hoofbeats to you?
No, actually, it sounds like something. In other regions that I've been in, they have these quakes, as if the ground is shaking from gods having a tantrum. I mean, that's a little bit what it sounds like to me. It doesn't sound like hoofbeats. But why are we hiding from the Iron Priest?
Are you fond of their sword?
No, but they never really bothered me before. I mean, a single traveler by himself. I mean, what are they going to do? It's not like they're gonna rob me.
Regardless, I'd rather avoid any unpleasantness if avoiding it is an option.
Fair enough. Okay. But, I'm a bit concerned now, because then if the Iron Priest comes, but then the rumbling increases, what do you want to do? I mean, the horses are over there, and then we're over here.
I'm not a military strategist, man. Just get down for a moment.
And he hunkers down like as you ask, and he will kind of just give you this look like, okay, I mean, if you think we should, sure.
And I think Jurek tries to he sheaths the blade
Mm-hmm.
and kind of tries to find a place he can conceal it. Maybe if they're down behind some rocks
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, then just a place he can tuck it that it
Now,
won't be on him.
are you holding it by the sheath only, or are you, like, putting one hand on the hilt?
I'm sure his hand must touch the hilt at some point.
When your hand
Certainly
touches,
when he sheaths it.
right, right. So when your hand touches the hilt, she's like, she's like, Vess is yelling at you, but then as soon as you sheathe her, then it like goes down to this whisper in the back of your head. In the back of your head, it's like, "What are you doing? Let me out! I can help you." And then, like, it gets muffled as you stuff her in the sheath, and you take your hand away. If you're only grabbing the sword by the sheath, you can't hear her.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
she
think
was yelling at you.
yeah. Oh, I think he's regardless going to put conceal the sword, because what he's worried about is if the worst scenario here is he gets in a fight with this Iron Priest and loses, and the Iron Priest takes the sword.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is that the Iron Priest doesn't get his hands on it.
Right.
So yeah, I think he conceals the sword as best he can, draws his own blade, and hunkers down behind cover.
And then Orm is again watching you do this, and then questioning you as you get close again. It's like, what are you? Why are you hiding that particular blade? What is that a ceremony? I mean,
Could be, but that's what he's looking for.
interesting. Does this blade have a name? Does it have a history? I mean, he's starting to look very eager, like, tell me, tell me, tell me.
Believe me, you don't want to know.
Even more intriguing. Now I do want to know. And then, like, I'm sure at this point it's like you both can hear the hoofbeats, like, ride closer, like much closer now. And then the Iron Priest grunts. And then you can hear the voice. Those are the horses.
And yeah, Jurek just kind of curses under his breath. Shit.
What?
Stupid.
What is it?
He's seen the horses. He knows we're here somewhere.
I did say, but I get it. It's fine. It's fine.
I would have hidden them if I'd had more warning.
Oh. I mean, and Worm's looking around like, I don't know where you would have hid them. In your pocket? I don't think so. You know what? Let me do you a little favor. Since they don't bother me, so I don't see why this would be any different. He pops up from behind the rock and goes, "Hello, good sir." And he's making like he's very welcoming, and then comes out from behind the rock. So this way he kind of gets closer to the Iron Priest, but, keeps the Iron Priest's eye on him and away from where you are. And then you hear him murmur to the Iron Priest, saying, it's wonderful to see you here, sir. I'm just taking my little repast and taking a rest and finding upon this battlefield, and then, like, trying to weave a story and possibly a song as he's talking with this priest. And you hear the Iron Priest murmur, and then kind of just acknowledging that he's here. But at the same time, you also start hearing the rumblings get closer, and you feel the ground vibrate. And then they're both raising their voices, remarking on it. It's like, do you feel that? And it's like, Orm's like, yes, it's a very unusual, like, marking on this part of land. I don't think I've experienced it here before. And he's trying to be distracting. I don't know, like, what you want to do with this case. But yeah, you've got that over there, and then you've got the rumbling coming closer from the opposite side.
Yeah, I think
shaking the ground. Yeah.
As Orme stood up, Jurek just kind of curses, but it's too late to stop him. And then he moves to kind of try and circle around where the two of them are so that he could potentially approach the Iron Priest from behind.
I think you do see them. And so what has happened is that Orme has maneuvered himself, so this way he's facing you, and the Iron Priest's back is to you. So he's aware where you are, but he's made it so the Iron Priest isn't. And they're still kind of talking and kind of just remarking over the sound and the vibration in the ground. And as the Iron Priest turns his hood to sort of look in that general direction of the rumbling, which would put you in view if you were like standing up or whatever, I think Orme is like trying to maneuver himself again and then just trying to make sure that the Iron Priest is not looking anywhere in your direction while he's keeping him busy. And then, like, also cajoling him with, like, some stories of, like, yes, this is what's happened to me when I was in da-da-da, and, like, like, mentioning different places in the Ironlands where this has occurred that he's been near. And it's like, it's fine. I'm sure it's nothing at this point. I mean, it's probably just a little bit of a, as he describes it, a god having a tantrum, and then, like, it'll be fine in just a minute or so.
I think Jurek just waits for the best opportunity and then tries to rush the Iron Priest and tackle him to the ground. Is he still mounted at this point? Or has he got down from his horse? I think he probably would still be on it, right?
I think he's still on his horse, but again, I mean, like, he's like, Orme's maneuvered himself so this way it's like, he's got the Iron Priest's attention. And so, like, he keeps on, like, moving the horse to face Orme. Yeah.
I think, Jurek is going to just try and spring out and drag him from the horse and onto the ground.
Go ahead. What's the action appropriate here? Is this enter the? I wouldn't be enter the fray necessarily because you're surprising the guy.
No,
you're surprising the guy. So what would it
like
be?
Secure an advantage.
I would assume so.
Or face danger.
Well, I mean, like, you got the possibility of the horse trampling you from behind. So
yeah, when you attempt something risky. Yeah, it's not really assessing a situation or making preparations. It's attempting something risky, right? So it's face danger.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like it kind of is either shadow or edge, right? Depending on whether he's trying to do it.
I mean, he's doing it
unobserved or doing it, or is it all about speed? It's kind of both, right? So
it is kind of both. I mean, like, I don't know if you want to try to take, I don't know if this is a mechanic in the game, but I mean, this is also like a possible opportunity that you're being helped by Orme right now. So I don't know if you can add like some kind of bonus or modifier.
That does make some sense, yeah. You could always call that just like edge +1, right? Take a +1 for the help.
I would say so, yeah.
Yep. So edge for speed.
Okay.
Okay. That's a 6 versus a 3 and an 8.
Okay.
Weak hit on that. secure an advantage. So you succeed, but face a troublesome cost. You are delayed, lose advantage or face any danger, or you are tired or hurt. You're dispirited or afraid, or you sacrifice resources. Well, sacrificing resources doesn't make any sense. I'm inclined to say I get hurt, right? I'm dragging him off a horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably we both get thrown to the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's pretty hard on me as well as on him. So yeah, I'm going to suffer some harm there. So I'll make the endure harm move.
Okay.
Following up from that. So that is roll plus health or plus iron, whichever is higher. Currently my iron is now higher. So I'm rolling with +3, and that's a 4 versus a 1 and a 9.
Weak again?
Weak hit again.
Okay. Which
means you press on. Right, so that's the kind of neutral result. I don't get any bonus from the endure harm, and it doesn't get any worse.
So you drag this priest off of his horse, and Orme kind of gives you a surprised look. I don't think he was expecting you to do that, but I mean, like, you do succeed, but then of course you're both thrown off balance, and then like you're practically thrown to the ground along with this priest. And as you're being thrown to the ground by the weight of this guy, his hood shifts, and then you're like almost facing each other when you're on the ground. And when his hood falls away from his face, you can see it's Somshiyr. It's the young Iron Priest that you ran into earlier.
I think Jurek may be surprised, but I'm not.
Well, yeah. We rolled what was going to happen.
Right, yeah.
But also, part of the troublesome cost, you're both on the ground. He sees you. You see him. He's about ready to try to whip out one of his weapons. But the rumbling gets worse. And I would imagine that everybody's ears is filled with this rumbling sound. And then Orme, you can hear Orme like shouting something, but you can't hear. And the horse is whinnying and like almost like bucking. So there's also that danger. But bursting out from behind one of the bigger rock piles / cairns, from underneath the ground, is that giant child that you ran into earlier. And as he's coming out of the ground, you can hear him cry out, and it's kind of garbled, but then after the rumbling stops, you can sort of hear the tag end of it, which sounds something like, "I want to play." So now you got the Iron Priest and the baby to deal with.
Wonderful. I think Jurek does his best to ignore that for the moment and just says...
And you can hear Orme, like, off to the side behind you or whatever. He's like saying, "What in God's name is that?"
"You following me?" he's saying to the Iron Priest.
I don't think the Iron Priest says anything. I think what he's going to do is he's going to roll to get up. Or what have you. I don't know if you want to do anything at this moment to move with him to prevent him from doing that, or if you just...
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to keep him pinned.
Okay. I don't know which appropriate move that is. Not the relationship moves. There you go. So, blah, blah, blah.
It's still not really combat as such, is
Well, I
it?
mean, like,
I
is
mean,
it enter the fray at this point? I mean, like, just because, I mean, like, you're going to try to.
if he's going to try and fight me,
He
then
looks like he's gonna like just like kind of try to whip out a weapon, even like
okay,
even though like you're practically like I forget what it is. It's not prone. It's not supine. It's
yeah,
on your side, whatever. So, um, yeah, I mean, I would say like enter the fray would be appropriate at this point, and then we'll interpret the role, but we have to determine
yeah,
what his rank is right now.
okay, we do.
I'm gonna say dangerous. I mean, you all right? Oh dear. Ooh, bless you, bless you, bless you. Goodness.
Too much chili on my pizza.
Oh,
Yeah, I dangerous or formidable.
I
It did have a little guide here. Hold on a sec.
okay.
Uh,
I
yeah,
mean,
dangerous, capable fighters and deadly creatures. Formidable is exceptional fighters and mighty creatures. So probably
I,
he's probably just capable more than exceptional, right?
I mean, he's dangerous. Like I said, I mean, it's up to
Yeah,
you how
right.
you want, because basically, I
But
mean, like I've
exceptional would be like Jurek would probably be a formidable,
yeah, but
maybe in his prime.
yeah. Well, I mean, like also thinking too. I mean, the Iron Priests are martial priests. They're not your happy clerics. Let's put it that way. Or at least like
Right. Yeah, they're a
more
kind of
sedate clerics. They're like
they're a
they're the
martial or they're a martial order of
right.
some kind. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That's what happens when you worship the big iron pillar, I guess.
So I guess
Whatever.
yeah, a regular Iron Priest would be dangerous, and a champion among them would be formidable. So it depends what you have in mind for this guy.
Um, well, 10 years ago he was a youth. I mean, imagine, you know, he still recognizes the countenance of the hawk, but I'm sure like in that time period he's trained. So you tell me, like, what do you see when you see this kid? What kid compared to you, basically? He will always be a kid compared to you. But
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make him formidable, I'm game for that.
go for it.
All right, let's roll. I think. I mean, this has got to be plus iron, right? Because I'm. And sorry.
Hold on. Okay, setting the rank. Okay.
We've done the rank.
Facing off against your foe's heart. Moving into position against none.
Oh,
No. Okay. Ambushed. Roll wits. No. So you're like basically heart. It doesn't say anything about edge or iron.
it does not. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go
Okay.
heart.
So that's plus 2. 3 versus 6 and 10. That's a miss.
You are not allowed to drain your glass. No. Combat begins with you at a disadvantage. Pay the price. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, I guess narratively, this makes perfect sense that Jurek gets distracted by this giant child appearing.
Yep.
And
Okay.
the Iron Priest kind of takes the opportunity to like punch him in the kidneys or something and,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and
I mean,
throw him off. And
you're both down on the ground. You're trying to control the priest from getting up, and that's not happening because he's gonna kick, he's gonna punch you, something to prevent you from laying hands on him. Yep. So pay the price. So you can either most obvious negative or envision 2 negative and then roll, or just roll. What do you want to do? How do you believe this can go wrong? It's already gone wrong, but I mean, how badly?
well, the worst is he pulls out a dagger and just like stabs him through the face right now.
Okay. Do you want to make that the most obvious negative outcome happen, or do you want to roll on it to see if that does happen?
I think let's roll.
Okay. Come on, use those pretty dice.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find the oracle. Where is it?
It's the last page of the moves reference sheet.
Oh, it's fate moves, not suffer moves. That's why.
Oh wait, what are you rolling on?
Pay the price.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fate moves. Sorry. I was like, what's the heading again? I forget. Yeah, no, it's fate moves.
54. It causes a delay or puts you at a disadvantage.
Well, definitely prevents you from getting up, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. He probably, yeah, he gets some kind of a blow on me. It's not enough to do any real damage, but it like knocks the wind out of me and yeah,
Right.
stops me from getting up right away.
Right. Now, because it's like we're nuts, or you let me like go nuts. How do you want to handle this? Because of course you have Orme on one side. Like
Mm-hmm.
he'll help where he can. I mean, like, you just have to tell me if you want me to roll for him. And then we've got the giant child who's like, wanting to play. So I mean, like, how you want to incorporate them into this
I
fray.
mean, yeah, I think the typical way in terms of the rules you would do that is if they're going to assist me in some way, then you would use that as an excuse to bump down the challenge rank of the fight.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes. I mean, if that makes
So
sense for the rules, then that's
yeah,
you
I
can do
think
that.
that's typically, yeah, if you've
Sure.
got some kind of advantage.
I mean, I don't know about an advantage. I mean, like, we don't know how Orm fights yet, and we don't know how the
Yeah,
giant child is going to react. I mean, maybe he considers you a pal. We don't know, which we can roll on if you want.
sure, we can. Yeah,
Like, yeah, yeah, do they have like a table for determining an NPC reaction
well,
or
they've got
creature
just the
reaction?
regular ask an oracle where you can just say, get
Oh,
a yes no.
all right. Let's see. All right.
So does he consider Jurek a friend? I can't remember what we did last time with him. How we parted.
He was, I mean, like, again, for him, he was playing, but I was
Yeah.
thinking in the terms of like, he was playing in terms of like a kid, like a young child with a tiny kitten, doesn't know his own strength and wants to just take this bundle and mess with it.
Mm.
So he was not very kind to you. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I mean, like, if we want to pick a,
I feel it's either likely or 50-50. What do you think?
let's see. Okay, so basically we're trying to figure out whether it's like, does the giant child consider you a friend, or
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, consider me friendly, like
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
in comparison to the.
Well, I mean,
So
because basically it's like, if he considers you a friend and he sees that the Iron Priest is trying to kill you or beat you up, then he's going to
yeah,
take that very unkindly. So, let's go
I
ahead and
think
see.
I'm going to say likely because it's he's interacted with me before, and he's never interacted with this other person before.
Right. So, this
And
would
if the
be,
first thing he sees is that person doing violence, then
yeah. Yeah.
okay, that is a. Can I read the dice? 35. So the answer is yes.
Oh, thank goodness. So, I think,
Okay, so we'll bump this guy down to dangerous then,
okay.
and
All right. And then,
use the presence of the giant fictionally in the outcome of moves.
right.
So, but anyway, it starts with me in a bad spot with no initiative.
Right. But I think at that point, like, we're before we sort of bump down the Iron Priest's challenge rating, I think, like, if the giant child sees that and is pissed, it's like, No, you hurt my friend. And then starts to make his way towards you. Yeah. So go ahead and roll again, I guess, with
Okay.
clash, I would imagine. Or wait, what is it like if you?
Well,
Because you're kind of disabled or whatever, right? So yeah, you don't have initiative. Close quarter. Close
I mean,
quarters.
it really depends on what the action the priest is taking
Oh, he's gonna
is.
whip out. He's gonna whip out one of his daggers. I mean, and then like try to get at you from where he is. Like he's not gonna obviously stand
Okay,
up
we can.
fully. He's going to crawl over to you or like lunge at you with the dagger whipped out from his. Everybody's got like daggers in their belts and shit, or in their in their boot, you know.
Mm,
But whatever it is, he's got it, and he's gonna try to use it against you.
yeah, I think I'm going to just try and fend him off
Okay.
initially. So that would be a face danger,
Okay.
I think. Plus iron, I guess.
Does it call for
With aggressive
that?
action, forceful defense. Yeah, forceful defense.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, come on, dice. That's a 8 versus a 10 and a 3. So a weak hit.
Okay. So that succeed, but a troublesome cost again. Choose one. Delayed, lose advantage, or face new danger. Tired or hurt. Dispirited or afraid, or you sacrifice resources. I don't think you sacrifice resources in this case. So it's
Yeah, I
either.
don't really want to take the harm because I'm already at 2 health. So
Jesus.
I might take the hit, just take the hit to momentum to like indicate that we're just kind of scrabbling together.
Yes.
And, this is taking up time. Is it plus? Oh, it's just -1 momentum. Okay.
And in this case, like Orme is trying to be helpful. Just trying to think of how. I think he's.
I think it might even be that like Jurek shouts out to him and just goes, "Hit him," because this guy's kind of almost
Yeah.
on top of him, So
Yeah. I mean,
is Orme carrying anything? Does he have a walking staff or?
he's got like a basic a cudgel
He
of
wasn't
sorts.
mounted, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He wasn't. He was walking.
Mm.
So, I mean, I was also thinking that he could possibly even grab hold of the one of the horse's reins, and then almost make like he's trying to get the horse to
Yeah. Sure.
step on him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, cudgel or horse. I mean, like however you think you wanted me to interpret it. I mean, that's fine. Do you roll for that, or do you?
I was thinking we could like model that as a secure an advantage, right? Because
Okay.
if Jurek is trying to tell him to do something,
Yes, sounds good. All
right? It's like
Let
is
me
that
see.
plus heart?
Hold on. Yes, it would definitely be with heart because you're trying to call onto the guy's help.
Oh dear.
Oh God, what did you get?
That's a 3 versus a double 5.
Jeez,
So that's a miss with a match.
Okay, hold on.
You fail or your assumptions betray you, pay the price.
Okay, so we could always just say like, okay, he tried, but I mean, his plan didn't necessarily work. So I mean, like he's got the horse's reins, but the horse is not paying any
or the
mind
horse
to him. Yeah,
the
right.
horse panics from the giant approaching, and
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
the earthquake. And,
sure. I think that's very likely.
Yeah.
It's a wonder that I'm gonna say that it's a wonder that that our horses haven't bolted.
Maybe they have.
We'll worry about that later. Let's worry about this fight. Okay, so pay the price.
Can we just take 5?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go get I will be back at like 34.
Sounds good. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Pitched
Off to a great
battle.
start as ever. Um,
So,
so we're looking for a pay the price result for this.
mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, is the most obvious negative outcome just that the Iron Priest turns and like strikes at Orme and knocks him down or knocks him away or something.
I mean, like, basically, I'm thinking that the Iron, again, being martially trained, I think the Iron Priest is able to, even from the ground, like maybe kick Orm's feet from
Mm.
underneath him or something like that and just be really good about knocking him off balance. And if not knocking him to the ground, then just out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's oh, but then it was a double, so it should, in theory, be like an extra bad result.
Well, I mean, you didn't get a match, though.
I know I did. I did get a match.
So,
Yeah, so hmm,
I
how
mean,
could we?
it's up to you. I mean, like, he knocks the, it would be, Orm is unsuccessful in trying to get the horse
Hmm.
to, to control the horse, and or he gets knocked off his feet by the Iron Priest, like doing like some kind of maneuver as he's trying to get at you.
Yeah, and it could even be just that, like, the Orm is hurt.
Mm.
Not saying he's dead or anything, but
Oh
he's
no, like just,
injured.
yeah, well, he's knocked off his feet. He
Yeah.
was not expecting
Um,
that. So,
okay, so that was a failed to secure an advantage. I'm just curious. I'm just trying to remember my like assets because I always forget to use them.
mm.
Okay. Um,
How much? Oh wait, hold on. I can read. Hold on. And you only have three momentum, so that's not gonna help. Poop.
yeah, so I think
You could. I mean, it's a little late for this, but maybe for next time you remember, you could try to take on Spirit Bound, like to try to help secure your advantage
mm,
or gather information next time.
yeah, I always kind of imagine that as being like an out of combat thing, a more downtimey thing. But yeah, it's
But
interesting that you could
in
potentially
here,
use that in this kind of situation. Yeah.
in this particular situation, it would make the most sense because, again,
Mm,
this battlefield has been established as where you had fought with
right.
Tavik, like Tavik at, near your side and stuff. And so, if anybody could give you damn advice at this point, it would be him. So,
Yeah. Okay. So I think the Iron Priest knocks Orem over
yep.
and kind of probably out of the fight,
Or at
or
least, like,
certainly for a
delay.
while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then just turn straight back at me and we'll go for a clash again.
Yes.
Seems like the logical thing. Let's see how badly I roll this time. Oh my
Can you?
goodness.
What is it?
That's that's an 8
Uh huh.
versus a 7 and a 2.
Okay, good. All
So we
right.
finally have a strong hit. So
Okay,
I inflict some
so.
harm.
Okay.
And yeah, I think so. I think narratively, the distraction that Oren provided was just enough that
Hmm.
Jurek is able to bring a weapon to bear. So we'll
Yes.
count it as like, so he does 2 harm. Dangerous enemy means 2 boxes per harm, right? So that's
Two,
4 boxes.
4 boxes per harm. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2 boxes per harm, but I do 2 harm because of using a weapon. So
Okay. And then choose what?
then I
Bolster?
choose.
Yeah. Bolster with one
Oh,
momentum, or find an opening, inflict 1 harm.
I'm gonna find an opening and inflict +1 harm. I think, yeah, you're like he had his sword drawn ready anyway. He's probably
Yeah.
like when he pulled the guy off the horse, it would still be in his hand.
Sure. Okay.
I think, yeah, he kind of stabs him right in the stomach and like opens a wound,
Okay. So
or
that's it's a
gashes
6.
a gash in the side. So he's up to 6 boxes on that fight, and I have the initiative now. So
Okay.
I think it's got to be
Strike.
it's got to be a secure advantage to like roll him over, or get the superior position,
Okay.
right? Because Jurek's still down on his back, so I think this is like try and throw him off and get to a standing position.
Okay.
Iron again, aggressive action. Yeah, makes sense.
Now you are securing an advantage on here.
Yes,
This
attempting
could be an
to.
opportunity to use your path asset of spirit bound. You can
Yeah,
consult with Tavik in this place, which makes the most sense to get this advantage. You would
interesting.
+1 and take
Yeah,
+2 momentum on a hit. So, I mean, you could picture how this looks, or you know, visualize what happens to Jurek in this point. Again, timey wimey. Time is weird here. So it would make sense to see Tavik at all places, besides, of course, the void, to see Tavik here and be able to
yeah,
talk to him.
yeah. I wonder if it's almost that Jurek sees a glimpse of something similar to this happening before, where an enemy had Tavik on the ground, and Jurek was the one clubbing the enemy over the back, and did it much more successfully than Orme just managed to.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, Tavik was able to like roll, like almost crocodile roll this guy over, and
Mm-hmm.
keeping a firm hold on him. So yeah, Jurek kind of has that move in mind.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go with iron and a +1, so that's a +4 total.
Yes.
And I rolled a 6, so that's a 10 versus a 6 and a 1.
Nice.
So that's a strong hit.
Okay. So basically, you take
And I take +2 momentum on a hit.
Yes.
So let's quickly deal with that first before I forget.
So secure advantage.
On a strong hit, you gain advantage. Choose one. Take control. Make another move now. Not a progress move, and at +1. Or prepare to act. Take +2 momentum. So I got the free +2 momentum from the asset. So I'm going to make another move now and add +1, and that other move is going to be strike. Okay. So I think, yeah, Jurek like threw this guy over, and now Jurek is on top, and he just stabs down with the blade.
Yeah.
That isn't. Hang on, I'm getting a +1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a 9.
Okay.
Versus a 9 and a 3.
Okay, so weak.
So that is a weak hit on the strike.
Inflict your harm and lose initiative.
Well, but inflict my harm is pretty vicious, because that's like
2. So what? I mean,
2 harm, and it's 2
it.
boxes per harm, so he's all the way up to 10.
Yeah, but you lost initiative. So
yeah, I lost initiative, so I can't finish the fight. But
unless you turn the tide. Hold on.
But you can't do a progress move off the back of turn the tide.
No. Wait. But okay. So you're at 10 on the progress track, but you're not. Hold on.
I'm not in a
all you're doing
with.
Well, wait. All you're doing with turn the tide. it's not progress. It's
Mm.
you're risking it all to steal initiative from your foe. Now, guess what? You have honor bound as one of your assets. Turn
Mm.
the tide. Envision how your vows give you strength in this moment. Then when you make your move, add +2 instead of +1 and take, well, you're going to lose a momentum, but oh, big deal. I mean, like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
just use it. But
Yeah. I could
use this
certainly turn the
path.
tide
Use
and
this.
use.
Use honor bound.
Yeah. So really, I'm just looking for like anything that would give me a strong hit here
Yeah. So
to enable, like mechanically, that's what I'm looking for. So it's kind of a secure advantage in a way because it's like I think he's just, Jurek has just struck the guy with the blade, and then it's like maybe hit him with the pommel of the sword just to like keep him down and take him out of the fight. So this is just like it's securing an advantage in the sense of just establishing physical dominance.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
but turning the tide. So envision how your vows give you the strength in this moment. My vow is to protect Ajla, right? So I'll make peace with Tavik.
I mean, you're calling
Yeah,
upon all those ties that bind right now in
right.
this place. So, what the hell? Might as well, right? So, you're adding +2 to make the move. And then you're taking away 1 momentum to do this.
I'm taking away one momentum. Is that from the?
It's from both Turn the Tide and from Honor Bound. Like, in other words, you're using Turn the Tide, but it's
Yeah.
telling you to add +2 instead of the
Yep.
usual +1. And then you're still just taking 1 momentum off the hit. So that's all.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That is a. So we're going with iron here,
Okay.
and +2.
What do we get?
6 plus 3 is 9.
Okay.
This is a 7 and 4.
Okay, great.
Strong hit on that secure
Wonderful.
advantage.
Beautiful. Okay, so
I take +1 momentum. So you take +1 momentum on secure advantage anyway, and then the honor bound says take +1. So I think that stacks. Does that make sense?
hold on a second. I just want to reread the move. Give me a second. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That's fine.
So I seize the
Yes.
initiative back, and then I'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So you got the initiative back, and then now.
Finish the fight. End the fight.
Okay. So then you
Progress move. So it's 10 versus
whatever you roll.
whatever chaos I roll here, which is going to be a 2 and a 6. So that's a strong hit.
This foe is no longer in the fight. They are killed out of action, flee, or surrender as appropriate to the situation and your intent.
I think I've got to leave him alive, right? So I think we end the fight with Jurek kind of using the pommel of his sword because he's so close now to just bash his skull and knock him out clean.
Okay.
And that's the end of the fight.
Okay. You know this kid's gonna haunt you, though?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm leaving him alive. Haunting is... Who doesn't want to be haunted?
No, you know this kid's gonna hunt you down.
Oh, hunt. Sorry, I thought you said haunt me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amounts to the same thing.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so kid's gonna hunt you down, but you're leaving him unconscious for now. And then Orm's like getting himself up, and then the by this time the giant child has like, stopped staring and will come over to you and then offer you one of its big pudgy hands. What do you do?
Just, yeah, kind of roll off this Iron Priest and just put my hands up and just, this is not a game.
He pouts.
And yeah, I mean, there must be some blood and whatever on Jurek at this point. Some, at least some of his own.
And I mean, like in this case, I think, you both help each other up, I suppose. Like, like, because Orm's, like on the ground and then you're getting up and such. But, ooh, that was exciting. And then he points over to the giant child and says, "Friend of yours?"
I wouldn't exactly say that, but I don't think he means harm.
And the giant child will smile and say, "I like play."
Maybe you can go and chase down a couple of horses for me. Does that sound like a fun game?
Ooh. And he will. So I mean, like, they're not that far actually. I mean, like, granted, I don't know if he's gonna be able to catch them because he's gonna make just as much noise on top of the ground as he did underneath. So we'll see. I mean, they're sort of in the distance, but I mean, like, they're kind of.
I think Jurek will call out to him. You have to be quiet so you don't spook him.
And he will stop in mid stride and then make like he's tiptoeing as a giant would. He's like making a, and then he like kind of like turns his face to you, and with one big finger he's like, shh, and then goes back to stalking the horses. And then Orm just shakes his head and just, well, I have not seen anything like that in my adventuring life. You've tamed or befriended, excuse me? You've befriended a giant's child. That's quite the accomplishment. How did you do that?
I let him beat me up was pretty much how I did that. Managed to stop him short of breaking my skull.
Well, you are evidently a hardy sort, my friend. I'd have to make tales of you. You said your name was Jurek, right?
Aye.
I don't think we should say anything about your roughing up an iron priest, though. I think we'll keep that part of the story under wraps, at least for now. And then he just kind of looks down at the priest. Ooh, this one might have a sore head in the morning. Goodness. Once he gets your friend gets the horses, you think we should go? Or at least try to see this out? I mean, I think the way it'll work is if we stay here through sunset, and I think we will need to light a pyre of sorts as well to see if we can fix whatever broken time there is here.
I think the first thing I'm going to do is tie this one up.
Okay. Fair enough. And, yeah, I mean...
And perhaps I'll make sure our friend there doesn't eat the horses. And then we can wait for nightfall. Are we still feeling ground rumbling at this point? Are we still feeling ground rumbling?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
I think you can surmise, or at least that's what Orme is going to do. Orme is going to surmise, I think your friend had burrowed underground. That's what caused the shakes and the quakes. Never heard of that before. Usually I find that they like the forests. Where did you come upon this strange one?
It was right here. Or not far away.
In the rock fields.
Aye.
Huh. Strange of his kind, I suppose. Well.
You suppose he's wandered off?
And then Orme stops and looks at you. If he has wandered off, should we worry that there would be parents behind? And he blinks at you.
And I think, yeah, Jurek blinks back at him. I'd rather not find out.
I mean, we can only hope that however much wandering this child has done, it's further away than we need to worry about. I mean, if we need to wait and see if by doing this ceremony or ritual that we can get your friend back, then, yeah, we have a bit of time to wait. We can't leave just yet.
Well, we'd best hope, if anyone does come looking for him, that he gives a good report of our intentions.
I mean, if he's like any other child, I mean, he needs to be active, I suppose. And maybe... I wonder if he likes stories or songs. Maybe I can amuse him while we wait.
That may be the most useful thing you've said today.
I can be useful. People came from far and wide to see me. I've been told it's to get me to go away, but that was a joke.
You'll forgive me if I don't appreciate or don't grasp your humor at the moment. I've just lost my friend. Almost got pounded flat by an iron priest. And now there's a giant rounding up my horses.
Again, you seem to have the most adventurous life. I'm surprised that no one has made tales of you yet. Huh. Do you have another name?
Not anymore.
And he looks at you curiously. Still, and more intriguing. Huh. Well, while your friend gathers the horses, then I will search around here for whatever we can use towards the funeral pyre. I think it will need to be lit around the same time that you remember that it happened 10 years ago. You were saying around sunset.
Aye.
All right. So, as he's searching around the field, to trying to gather brush and whatever he can, dried grasses, to get this started, what do you want to do? You can hear the giant child kind of laughing in his way in the distance as he gathers the horses.
Yeah, I think Jurek will make sure this Iron Priest is securely tied. And then, just kind of help get the horses back and staked out. And then just settle into wait.
I think as you're doing this and then everything gets settled down, the priest is still kind of out cold. I think the giant child will be sat down on the ground and they just kind of look at you. And then you all of a sudden hear this deep rumbling again. But it's not from the ground. It's from the child's stomach. And he kind of pats his belly. Hungry.
I suppose we could eat.
Nods vigorously. I think at this point...
What's Orme doing at this point?
Yeah, he's finishing up, putting together what looks like a basic funeral pyre. Or at least the beginnings of one. With the brush and the branches or something like that are scattered. And puts it together and comes over in time to hear the child's stomach rumbling and says, "Oh, I guess it is time for a break. I can share some of my meager rations, if that is something that you would like. What is your name, young one?" And then the giant child kind of puts one finger to his chin and thinks and says, "Tom." "Tom?" "Tom." And Orme will almost reach out a hand to shake and then think better of it, and then instead puts the one hand against his chest and leans down a little bit in a little bow and says, "Pleasure to meet you, Tom. I am Orme." And then the giant child looks at you and says, "Tom." And then nods to you.
Jurek.
Jurek. And nods. And so Orme will break out whatever rations that he has in his pack. I think the giant child is like, Can take some of this and then take some of yours. Yeah. Like has a little bit of a meal of it and kind of laughs and giggles. And then Orme will try to keep him busy with a story or two, or maybe like a little song. And you watch the sun go down. It starts to get colder as the light wanes. And you can almost see the twinkle of stars as the sun goes down and the night creeps in. Orme gets up and says, I think it's time. Did you have a ceremony? Did you have any ritual around this to wish your comrades on their way?
Normally, a few of the dead's close comrades would say some words. Nothing much more than that. Perhaps I could do that.
It might be a good idea. You
And
may want.
perhaps this might be some help. And he lifts up the sword that he's recovered from the hiding place.
Is there significance to this sword?
Oh, it's significant. All right. It's tied to Ajla in some way.
Another intriguing tale to tell. Huh. Well met. That I came upon you today, sir. Let us try this and see if it works. So what do you do with Bess to add to this ritual of sorts?
I think as the light fades and the light from the fire starts to pick up. Yeah. Jurek will draw the sword and stand with it facing the fire and just kind of thinking of Tarvik. Who, he remembers being in this place with him. This isn't where Tarvik died, but it's one of the places they fought together. And yeah, he'll just say something in the order of should have been you standing here. Maybe you'd have known what to do. Maybe if it was you, your sister wouldn't be in quite this much trouble.
I think you hear a whisper on the wind or in the back of your head. And you're not sure whether it's a whisper of the memory or a whisper, again, outside of yourself. But the whisper is something like, remember, if it wasn't her, it was going to be me.
Aye, and you would have been. You would have known what to do with this blade better than she does. Perhaps you would have been more ready.
Do you hold the sword by the hilt, or are you still holding it in both hands by the sheath?
Yeah, I think in both hands. Well, no, he's unsheathed it now.
Okay. I think like the funeral pyre's lit, sun sets, and then you feel the blade thrum through the hilt, and you can almost hear this steel, or the metal of the blade hum. And again, there's that voice in the back of your head, and it's Bess. I sense her now. I think she's coming closer. This ceremony is doing what it's supposed to do. It's bringing time back into place. And almost as a prompt, I don't know if you're conscious of even doing this or not, but I think as the blade is humming and thrumming underneath your grip, and then the funeral pyre burns, you can feel tingling on your skin and underneath, and you feel goosebumps form even underneath your clothes. And it's almost like the atmosphere clicks into place. Two visions of this place, present and past, becoming one. And the funeral pyre burns hotter and brighter for an instant. And you even hear Orme behind you make an exclamation, and the giant child is going, "Ooh." And then the pyre goes out suddenly, and you're plunged into darkness. There is no moon, only the twinkling of stars above you. You hear Orme behind you somewhere. What the devil happened? What? Jurek, where are you?
I think Jurek doesn't respond. He is, looking into the fire and almost trying to look through it to see if he can see Ajla.
You see some embers. They glow. Not enough light necessarily to see by. And you can see tendrils of smoke wafting out from it, almost luminescent in the darkness. But the smoke curls and twists, and then almost forms a path from the pyre to go behind some of the cairns, and then behind several of the cairns you see the smoke start to form human-sized, human shapes. And again, the sense is Orme is behind you. The giant child is off to the side. They're not saying anything, but you know that they're there. And they can see it too. And at this weird moment, I do need to take 5 minutes. So
No problem.
Give me 5. Let's see. Put this. Okay. So, yes, the wisps of smoke start to form human shapes behind several of the cairns, and the sword in your hand will start to speak. She's been silent this time that you've held her for the ceremony of the funeral pyre. But in this darkness, with just the dying embers and the smoke that forms behind the cairns, you can hear her speak in the back of your head, and she says, "They're not at rest here, Jurek. These seem to be the ghosts of those."
Who's not at rest?
They are the ghosts of those. As she said, and she stops as if she's listening. These are the ghosts of those that you may have dispatched.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, swirly smoke behind the cairns. And Vess is telling you, before we got so interrupted by the technology again, Vess was trying to tell you that these ghosts are of people that you personally dispatched from this plane. And they are holding judgment on you, Jurek. And she's telling you this as the smoke is forming these shapes. You don't see any features, but you feel them all looking at you. And it's almost like at this point, time has stopped. The smoke stops swirling. All that's in front of you is these creatures, these essences, and you don't see the giant child moving. You don't hear him moving. You don't hear Orme behind you in any way. It's like the whole world has stopped. And it's just you, the essences, and Vess. They are calling for your blood, Jurek. What do you want to do? They're holding time and place. Ajla can come back, but I don't think they're going to let her until they extract something from you.
And let them ask me themselves.
Drive me into the ground. Drive my point home into the ground in front of them, and I will see if I can help you talk to them.
I think he's, kneeling, facing the fire. And just takes the sword and plunges it straight down in front of him.
When you do that, you find yourself transported to a different place, but it's the same place. It's like things are in reverse. Now it's completely bright. You are barely able to see, your eyes burn with how bright it is. And these shapes are now in shadow. behind the white stones. And Ves, the sword, is in front of you as you're kneeling, as a bright sword with a dark center. And if you're clutching the sword still with both hands, you feel it hum as if it's helping you understand. But then now you can see the shadow beings speak through wispy mouths. And each of them take a turn in calling out their essentially their beef with you. I mean, you killed me on the battlefield. You took me away from my family. One of the figures has the aspect of an older man. You may or may not recognize him as the one that you had killed, who was with this now Iron Priest. And his voice comes out a little bit clearer than the others, where he says, "You took me away from my son. I and we demand your blood." Spill it here. So we drink and take of your self as you took us. You took ourselves away.
I think Jurek is trying to restrain himself from saying something contemptuous of them. But will, as after a few moments, the sword is sticking in the ground in front of him. And he's kneeling. And he will run the palm of his hand down. And, it cuts into the meat of his hand, and the blood runs down the blade until it reaches the ground.
It makes a dark pool down the blade and then forms a lot bigger of a pool than you would have expected from just your palm. But the shadows come, their wispy selves floating in space from behind those stones. And you can see each of them kneel at this pool and dip their hands or faces into this pool. And you can see as they touch the blood how much more human they are. They become more discernible, clearer to see. The ones that dip their faces, you can see the faces of those that you may or may not remember. The one who spoke about losing his son dips his face into the pool. And in that moment that he does, you see the face of that old man that now you suppose is the father of the Iron Priest that is tied up somewhere behind you. And he laps at the blood just like the others do. And he becomes clearer and more distinct. As one, they raise their heads or their hands and step away from the pool of blood, which is now merely a trickle because they have lapped it all. And they thank you in that way that warriors do. They will not openly attack you, but they will send an image into your mind, each one in turn, of how you killed them. And you will feel that pain in yourself as they do. The last one is the old man. And as he gives you that image of when you thrust the spear into him, you feel that pain. You feel that sense of loss. And then just as quickly, it is gone. And then he turns to you and says, "If you truly be human, you will tell my son that I love him, and I will wait for him when it is his time." And then they disappear one by one into the brightness, their shades dissipating. And then you find yourself still kneeling, but now back into darkness. And you hear the giant child whimpering a little. You hear Orme from behind you saying, "What happened? The funeral pile. It just snuffed out like a candle." And then from behind as well, you hear the groans, I guess, of the Iron Priest waking up from his forced slumber. And then you also hear from beyond the cairns, you hear, "Jurek."
And I think he just looks up at her and says, "I'm glad you're back."
She comes out from behind the cairns, and you don't see her face. You see her figure approach you. You have to go?
In a couple of minutes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, you see her approach you, and she doesn't reach out. You can't see her face. And she says, "I saw you. I saw you. They're all dead. I didn't know if I could stop them. I didn't know if I should." Tavik was there too. And I know he stopped you from killing that boy. And she settles down, kneeling in front of you, somehow not getting near the sword. But she will reach out in the darkness, and you feel the touch of her hand on your face. And we can end there for today.
Right. Thank you. Good session. It was
Yeah.
fun having you. It felt like you were the GM and I was the player today.
I mean, I just felt so bad because I felt like, the last few sessions, it was like, it's all Ajla. I'm like, oh God.
No, not at all. Yeah, I didn't feel that. So, yeah, but this was good.
No, it was good. I enjoyed that for sure. I mean, cooperative play is good, but I mean, I also feel like, like I introduced a lot of people today.
Right.
So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, like, we keep up with Orme and the giant child, and whose name we still don't know yet. God damn it.
He did tell us, and I've forgotten it already, but yeah.
Yeah,
because he was introduced. Yeah, he did say what it was.
He did say what it was. So once I convert it, then it's like I'm sending it to you, and then like you can take out the bits of the the GM design stuff. So get some advice about doing Witchburner, however you want to run it, and then just run it. See how it goes.
Yeah, I'm going to schedule it. Yeah.
Okay. All righty.
Okay. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. See ya.